that my thoughts lead to my emotions.
Precisely.
Okay. So, the more important my thoughts got, the more scared.
Because the more important your thoughts are, the more you focus on thoughts.
Yeah.
But the thought that you're focused upon is the thought that's going to bring more thoughts. So by making thoughts so important, all you do is parlay wherever you are into greater and greater and greater construction. Where if you let emotion be what you're reaching for, it's a softer way of diffusing and deactivating the thought. You see, here, we want to hear from you fully, but consider this.
Yeah.
So let's say that you've been focused and you've been working and you've been trying and you've been worrying and you've got some thoughts going on that you can feel are not all that productive because you feel some stress. Well, what's going on is, as you're thinking those thoughts, and those thoughts are finding other thoughts like them, there's some construction happening. In other words, you're building these roadways further and further away from who you really are. So when you think about that, it's not possible for you to just stop thinking about, in other words, you can't, when you think about no longer wanting to think that thought, you're thinking about that thought that you no longer want to think about. It's sort of what we were talking about the difference between considering all of the things in the world or just reaching for an emotional basis. So what we are suggesting to you is that when you find yourself in that sort of a quagmire, the concept of deactivating or the concept of quieting the mind really is a productive, viable, effective, easy to use tool. But the thing that you have to understand, this is the thing that you don't really know, that we know, that's causing you to approach it in what we consider to be a harder way than you need to. When you think about all of the thoughts that you could think, we want to say to you, all of the thoughts that you could think aren't available to you right now because you're not on the vibrational wavelength with all of the thoughts that you could think, wanted or unwanted. They're just not all available to you. The only ones that are available to you are those that are in the vicinity of where you are, which means those that are in the vicinity of where you've been practicing. So to try to sort it out thought-wise just doesn't work very well because all you do is spin in your own juices, so to speak. But if you say, okay, I get it. I'm a thinker because I've got active thoughts, but I can quiet my mind by choosing to focus upon a feeling rather than upon a thought. As you listen to music, or as you listen to a dripping faucet, or as you listen to some music that is offering a rhythm for breathing, as you focus upon something, now it's still thought, but it's focused with the intention of feeling an emotion rather than thinking a thought, it will diffuse your chaos so much quicker than if you try to think your way out of it.
And I did that, I did the meditation, I got the meditation CD and I meditate every day. And I heard go general, which you always say when you're in kind of more contrast, because the more general you are, the easier it gets to the vortex. And I do the ABC game, which helps me to get to the emotions. The thing that happened is, because my alignment is so important to me, and being in the vortex is so important to me. Even before I go, for example, to the studio to record, I want to be more than, I don't know, I think perfect, outstanding or anything, because I want to be in the vortex. And what happened then, since I do that, this might, I don't know, it's kind of even hard to say because for my mind, I know it's totally stupid. But what happened is I got this kind of, people would say it's kind of OCD, because when a negative thought comes to me, I'm so scared of it that I kind of have to do, I'll give you an example, I have to do the action again that I did before. For example, I'm in my car and listen to one of your recordings. And I stop my car, I park, and when I have a negative thought, at the end of the recording and I want to get out of my car, and I get out of my car, I'm damn it, you had that negative thought. This is not funny, for real. This is not funny because I know it's so stupid by my mind, but and then I have to go back into my car, and this is not funny, especially when you're 22 years old. So what I want to say, and it's so weird because since I relaxed more and since I got more of that relief, and I don't know if you can help me with that, but I hope, then this thought comes to me, which is pretty weird, that the most scary thing for me, and which is, I don't know where it comes from, I don't know why it came, but like to kind of, even though I'm healthy, I'm good, like to die of cancer, which is pretty, it's pretty stupid, but it comes to me, and I can't, and it's when I'm out, it's clearly when I'm out of the vortex. It's clearly when I'm out of the vortex, because every time when I'm in the vortex, and I've been like, when I started like 3 months ago, really persistent, I've been like 3 weeks, like constantly in the vortex, and things happen. I know I'm at the right place at the right time. I know I'm healthy, everything's fine. But since I take this like so, like, because I want this so much. I want so much to be in the vortex, and the other side pops up, and it's like, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. But.
Well, it was a very good demonstration of what we've been talking about the quagmire of trying to think your way out rather than just sort of letting go, allowing your vibration to raise, and then allowing the raised vibration to attract better feeling thoughts. In other words, we started this conversation earlier, and this is a good time to play it out, because we think you will see the benefit of what we're reaching for, especially as you compare it with what you just said to us about what's been happening. So let's say that you're on your way to record, and you know you want to feel good. So you listen to the meditation CD, you quiet your mind, you listen to something, you do your best to get yourself into the vortex. But for whatever reason, your attention is drawn to something, and you find yourself not where you want to be. And the stakes feel high to you, because this is the moment in time where you want to be where you want to be. So let's say that you want to be in the zone, you want to be in the vortex, you want to be tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and you're not. And you know you're not. So you fight against it. You think about how you should be doing better. You call yourself stupid. You say, I'm 22 years old. I've been listening to this for a while. I should have this by now. This really matters. And in every one of those statements, which is a thought that's powerful, you are activating the opposite of what you want to activate. And so instead of feeling a little better with each of those thoughts, you feel a little worse. And the reason you feel a little worse is because you're digging in a little harder in opposition to who you really are and what you really want. So we want you to deconstruct that. In other words, you can't say, I'm brilliant when you feel stupid, and you can't say, I'm in the vortex when you know you're not. That's too big of a jump. But you could make an effort at deconstructing some of this. And you said the perfect words. You said, Abraham says, go general, go general. Now, before we go general on that, we want to appeal to your logic by saying to you, you never stop in your awake state generating vibration or generating thought. Thought is always going on because you're always focused in some way. You can't smell without focusing. You can't hear without focusing. You can't see. You can't be alive in your body without some focusing going on. And focusing and thought are one and the same thing. So let's just say you can't turn that thought mechanism off. But do you know what is the most general word that we could give to a thought? Emotion. In other words, let's call emotion. Now, an emotion is an indicator, but let's look at an emotion right now as a really general thought. So let's say that that you have plenty of things that you, like the rampage that you just offered. I should be doing better. I want to focus right now. I'm 22. I'm focused. Specific, 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 and all of it counterproductive. But what if instead you say, and what is a general word, a general emotional word that describes all of that?
Frustration.
Frustration is a good one. Yeah. It could even go stronger to the negative of, you said, you used another label of almost like manic, or almost getting back into your car to repeat it again. In other words, you gave it a strong sort of negative label. But the point that we're making with you is that in the emotional framing of it, you are already more general. So here's what we want you to hear. Specific words, here's the continuum that you're reaching for. Here's where you don't want to be. Here's where you do want to be. You don't want to be over there in that negative emotion. You do want to be over here in that positive emotion. Over here in the most negative of emotion is a very specific negative thought. As you get less specific, it becomes less negative. The less specific, so it goes from specific and negative to less specific and negative, to even less specific and negative, to general and negative, to general and neutral, to general and positive, to more specific and more positive, to more specific and more positive, to more specific and more positive, to ecstasy. You're getting the sense of this. So to try to jump from specifically negative to specifically positive, you can't do it because the vibrational law of attraction will not allow it. So you have a much better opportunity, or we started to say chance even though there is no chance, but the probability of you moving from negative to positive is much better if you're moving from negative into more general, into more general, into more general positive, into really specific positive.
I can use that, and I used that before for like the recording studio. So, but like, what am I doing like about the OCD thing then?
Well, just understand what it is. What that is trying to use your behavior and your action and your mind and your thoughts to do something that you should be allowing the vortex to do. That's like it would be like if you were driving. It would be like if you were driving your vehicle. You never feel the urge to lift the hood and get under there and work with the pistons and the pulleys. In other words, you know that's not your work, and it really isn't your work. Your only work is to get into the vortex. You've done all the other work. You've done all of the other work. You are prepared. Your vortex is ripe. Your content is ready. You've thought it all through. You're ready to perform. You're ready to deliver. It's all right there for you. All you've got to do is get yourself in the deliverable mode. And the deliverable mode is feeling good. It's trusting yourself. It's knowing that you're good at this. It's expecting to do well. It's knowing that you don't have to get it just right first crack out of the box every time. It's knowing that your process is resilient enough that it can take you as you are. It's knowing that they all who are working with you know that you'll get into your groove, and that it takes just a little while to do that, and that anybody ought to be willing to let anybody warm up to their groove, and not holding yourself at such strict standards that you've just always got to be there. It's the giving yourself the permission to click in before you begin, and let everyone and everything in the universe wait until you've done that. But the OCD thing is not try. That's why we demonstrated this as we did. In other words, don't try to force it. This is what happens. Don't try to force it. When you take the energy that creates worlds and you get crossways of it, you create chaos. When you take the energy that creates worlds and you come into alignment with it, what you create is magical and blissful and powerful and beneficial and feels good as you're doing it, you see. So we want the roll up to the recording session to feel as good to you as the recording session itself.